In 5.1, we are adding and subtracting fractions today. All right, in example 1, in examples 1 and 2, actually, the nice thing is that we're adding fractions that have common denominators, all right, because that's the first thing we need to look for. Do my fractions have common denominators? Because if they don't, I cannot add them together. All right, so last chapter we compared fractions, we converted fractions, we looked at common denominators to compare them, and now we are actually going to combine them. So your rule is that you do not add your denominators together, you simply bring it across, but they have to be the same in order to be able to add. So since I have a common denominator, I'm going to add my numerators together to get 7/9, and that's my answer. All right, I want you to do 3/8 plus 1/8 the same way. All right, so 3 plus 1 is 4, and then can I reduce that to 1/2? Very good. All right, so wouldn't it be nice if all the examples were that easy? All right, now in example 2, I do have the convenience of having a common denominator again. Okay, so again, I'm just looking at numerators, and I'm subtracting my numerators. So 7 minus 4 is 3/8. All right, go ahead and do the same thing to 4/5 minus 2/5. All right, so what is it? 2/5. All right, very good. Now in example 3, I do have to find a common denominator before I can add them together. Now, you might think that this is a simple lesson, but every year I have students, especially when they're looking at a section where I'm multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting, and everything's together, they forget that they have to find LCD before they add and subtract. All right, so I want you to find the LCD of these two fractions and then create your equivalent fractions. All right, guys, what's LCD? What's LCD? LCD is 12. Very good. So now how do I figure out what my numerators are? What did I multiply 4 by to get to 12? All right, 3. So 9 over 12 and 8 over 12 gives me 17 over 12. But I'm not going to leave my answer improper. I need to change it to a mixed number, and what would it be? 1 and 5/12. All right, so that's it for example 3. Now I just want to do a couple more. All right, what if I had 3/5 plus 1/2 and 3/4 plus 1/12? I want you to find your LCD and add them together. Okay, so find my LCD. LCD is 10 on the first one. I create my equivalent fractions, and I get 1 and 1/10. Who got that right? You got it right. Very good. Now on the second one, LCD is 12, so I don't even have to change the second fraction. Just change the first one. I get 10/12, but is that my final answer? No, I need to reduce to 5/6. All right, got it? Okay, very good. One more example. Not too bad, huh? Okay, so in example 4, now I'm going to be dealing with a word problem. Basically, what it says is this. I buy a piece of wood to build a house. That piece of wood is typically 5/8 of an inch thick. However, I need to sand it down and I need to round it off to make it perfect for where it needs to go in the house. So when I sand it down, the end measure is going to be 7/16 of an inch. 7/16 of an inch. So it wants to know how much did I reduce it by. So if I'm reducing it, what operation goes in between? Addition or subtraction? Subtraction, because I'm reducing. All right, so subtract 7/16. Now what do I have to do first before I can subtract my fractions? Find my LCD. So 10/16 minus 7/16 gives me 3/16 of an inch. All right, so just subtracting the fractions. You do have, I think, maybe 1 or 2 word problems on your homework tonight. All right, so just figuring out, is it addition or subtraction, and then connecting the fractions together. Okay, so now I want you to do one. Subtract the fractions. All right, what's my LCD? 24, and I create my equivalent fractions. Did you get 5 over 24? Yes. All right, very good. Okay, now I want to look at fractions where I'm adding more than one fraction together, okay? Now, it has to be the same denominator all the way across. Do I have the same denominator all the way across? Okay, so now combine your numerators. All right, so we're combining our numerators. What did you get on the first one? 7/9, right? What about the second one? All right, 1/3, very good, because I have to reduce to simplest form. But what if I did not have common denominators? You have to find the LCD. Whoops, I didn't mean to show you. Okay, you have to find the LCD of all 3 numbers. So that's like when we found LCM of 3 numbers. Okay, so you start with your largest denominator and start listing multiples until you get to a number that they all 3 go into. All right, so go ahead and find your LCD and create your equivalent fractions. All right, so what's your LCD? 60. Okay, so now 3 times 20 is 60, so multiply top by 20. All right, and we just keep going all the way across. We simplify, and we get 1 1/60. Who got that right? Who got it right? Raise your hand. If you got it wrong, do you see where you went wrong? Okay, any questions, Alexis? Do you see? All right, any questions, guys? Loza, got it? Okay. All right, last thing we're going to talk about. All right, I want you to substitute and solve. Substitute and solve. Okay, got it? All right, so what's my, I make my substitutions. What's my LCD? 28. So I create all my equivalent fractions. Did you get 19 over 28? Yes. All right, good job. Okay, 19 over 28. If you understand that, that's everything you need to know for 5.1.